So, good afternoon. Welcome to another episode of Sam's Corner. And under the umbrella of Developing the Workforce of You, which is a book I'm currently working on, we're going to talk about being complacent, we're going to talk about being content, and we're going to talk about being driven. Those are all things that we have been at some point in our lives, whether we realize it or not. So I want to take a moment to talk about the three, give an example for three, give you a moment to think about where you are and where you want to be. So let's start with the definition of complacent. And complacent is feeling so satisfied with your own abilities or situation that you feel you do not need to try any harder. Being content means being pleased with your situation and not needing or desiring for it to be better. Being driven. When you're driven, you are so determined to achieve something or be successful that all other behavior is directed towards that aim. So let me give you an example of what it means to be complacent, to be content, and be driven. So let's say you have Joe. Joe's an account rep. Joe's like, I'm an account rep. Job is okay. It's fine. It is what it is. It's not a glamorous job. It's okay. I'm lucky to have a job. That's being complacent. Being complacent is wherever you are, you're disconnected to a point where you don't really care about where you are. You are where you are, and that's just it because you're complacent. You have no desire, you have no drive, you have no feel to do anything more or to try any harder. It is not something that you're passionate about. It is not something that you're willing to give your entire essence towards. You're just there. And many of us, especially in the workforce, we're complacent. We are where we are. We'll say, okay. I mean, I could do more, but why? You're disconnected to a point where you do not have a desire, like I just said, to give your soul, to give 100%, to give anything. When you're content, content means, like let's take for an example, the same thing with Joel, that he's an account rep. Joel says, I'm an account rep, or I was one, and my goal was to be district manager. I am district manager now, and I'm great with that. I'm content with that because that's where I wanted to be. Now that I am there, this is exactly where I want to be. So when you're content with something, you don't have a need or a desire to be better or to go to a better place because where you are is exactly where you want it to be. And that's different from being complacent. Complacent just says I am where I am, but content is like where I am is exactly where I want to be, and I have no desire to be in any other place. When someone is driven, they are moving to a point, to a different aim. So let's say someone who is driven says, okay, let's say Joel. Let's say Joel is an account rep. Joel says in 5 years I want to be district manager, and in another 5 years I want to be the regional manager. Joel is saying where I am at, I understand where I am at, but I have a goal and an aim to be someplace else. I am not content, nor am I complacent with the place where I am. I have a desire to be someplace else. So that's the difference between being complacent, being content, and being driven. So I want to take a moment, and I want you to pause the video. And before you do so, here are the questions that I want you to ask yourself about your professional life. Are you complacent? And if so, why? Are you content? If so, why? Are you driven? If so, why? It's important to not just ask yourself if you're content, if you're complacent, or if you're driven. It is important for you to understand why you are where you are. And the thing is, this is not something where you judge yourself. This is not something where you condemn yourself. This is where you take a moment for you and ask yourself where you are and why you are there. People will judge you. No matter who you are, no matter what you say, it doesn't matter. People will judge you. The only judgment that matters is the judgment that you give yourself. So these questions are not for you to judge yourself. This is an opportunity for you to become clear about where you are in your professional life. So now please take a moment, pause the video, be honest with yourself, and ask yourself, which are you in your professional life and why? So, moving forward, is being complacent, content, or driven right or wrong? The short answer is no to a certain degree. And here's why. Your life is your own. You are responsible for the choices that you make. You have to accept the consequences. Consequences aren't always negative. They can also be positive of said choices. You can be complacent in your life. If that's what you want to do, you have every right to do so, and people will question you and tell you what you should be doing, and maybe you should be. But again, it's your life, and you have the right to choose. So if you choose to be complacent, that's fine. If you're content with your life, we're talking strictly on a professional level, but it applies to personal as well. Are you content? Are you really happy? If you are, then that's fine. Then be content. You do not owe anyone an explanation about you being content. And if you're driven, then be driven, and don't let anything or anybody stop you from where you want to be or what your goals are. For those of you who are driven, I want you to understand that not everyone is going to understand your vision, not everyone is going to collude with your vision, and not everyone is going to support your vision. I'm going to tell you this, most of the people closest to you aren't going to understand your vision, they're not going to support you in it, and they're going to think that you're doing something stupid. That's just being honest. And guess what? They have every right to feel that way. And even if they share it with you, that's fine. But it's up to you to decide what you want to do. And if you have a dream, if you have a goal, I don't care if everyone in the world is against whatever your dream or vision is. It doesn't matter. If it's yours, step out and do it. Don't let anything or anybody stop you. Also, if you're driven, you can't connect yourself with people who are content or complacent, because you'll end up being content or complacent. People who are driven, we often think that, oh, well, this person's content or complacent. We'll talk to them and we're going to make them be driven too. You can't. Being complacent, being content, being driven is a true personal choice. And if you end up colluding and connecting your energy with someone who is content or complacent, you'll end up being complacent without realizing it. If you are driven, then you need to be connected with like-minded people who are driven as well. Otherwise, you'll become complacent or content one day and you won't even realize it. So, with that being said, thank you all for watching. Please subscribe, please like, and let me know your thoughts. Thank you for listening. I'll see you all later. Bye.